New York, so, it takes us about an hour and a half or 2 hours to do one session, so.
Well, no, we do not record together at Soundtrack, but there is an air hockey table, and they have little breaks in between the two characters, and I run into AJ sometimes, or Noah sometimes, and we just play air hockey, and they have the free popcorn and free candy. Anyway, awesome there. And, but we do not record together, and I am still recording, actually. So, well, I don't know, I think I have another date, but I just recorded last week after AJ, and yeah, I just recorded last week, and I had to push it down. I'm usually the first one, and I'm in there for about, like 2.5 hours at least. Like, I'm in there for a while, because it happens, it's crazy long monologues, yeah, but yeah.
And Noah, I'm guessing that they had a piano stunt double for you? You didn't have to play your own music?
No.
And did you guys get to go to the Charles Schulz Museum? Have you visited yet?
No, No.
No? Okay.
No,
All right. I'm sure that's going to happen. So how did you guys, when you were recording, did you get to take breaks, aside from the air hockey, to drink water or a tea with lemon or anything like that to keep your voices?
I usually have a water there with me, so whenever my voice I feel like getting dry, I usually just take a sip of that.
And I usually drink Henry Unsong's Egyptian chamomile with 2 ounces of purified brown sugar, and also about 2 ounces of cream. Very specific. No, I just drink water. We do take little breaks when they have to kind of switch to reels after a while, halfway through, I get a 5-minute break to play air hockey if my brother comes. Yeah. I like air hockey.
So for you guys, other than the characters you get to play in Francesca, you were just revealed as the little red-haired girl. This is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
How exciting is it to be playing Charlie Brown's sweetheart?
It's really awesome. I was so excited when I found out that I was going to be playing the little red-haired girl, and her face actually has never been fully exposed. So now it has been revealed because she's always been hiding behind a book, popcorn in the picture of the cast. She's hiding behind her popcorn at the movie theater, so you've never actually seen her, but now you can see her.
Nice. And did you get to meet the kid who's doing Charlie's voice?
Yes, we did. We actually met last Thanksgiving when we did the Today Show. So yeah, it was kind of weird, but yes.
Scott, what did you learn about the Peanuts? I mean, you guys were all lifelong fans, but working on something like this, you've got to come up with some new stuff.
I think, yeah, I've been on the film, like I said, for about 3 years, and it entailed a lot of research. And we were all huge fans before, but after the 3 years of research, we've become even more so. I think his legacy of characters that are all very distinct. Each character has a little bit of us inside of them. They're all very relatable, and I just love the universe that he created. It's 50 years of drawing a strip every day. It's pretty daunting and amazing, and quite a legacy.
And for the kids, last question before we're going to do some other stuff. But starting over with Noah. Aside from the character that you got to play, what Peanuts character would you want to be friends with?
Besides Schroeder, I would probably want to be friends with either Pigpen or Linus.
What about you, Linus?
Well, if I could be friends with anyone besides my character, it would probably be, Snoopy. Yeah, Snoopy. Or Woodstock. Either one. They're awesome.
I would probably go with Charlie Brown because he might not be the most athletic, but he's always there for you. If you're ever feeling down, he's always there to pick you right back up.
Yeah, I feel the same way about all the characters. I love Snoopy. I think he's hilarious, especially in the clip where he's dancing. I think he's just so funny. And I love Woodstock. He's like super awesome. And I'd probably be friends with Charlie Brown because he's very nice and kind and he really cares about his friends.
And so why should people go see this movie?
Okay.
Alvin.
Well, to see the movie, well, they should go see the movie because it will probably remind them of all the old Peter characters that a lot of you probably grew up reading in the papers, and a lot of that will be in this movie, only it's nice and fresh, and I think it'll just kind of be like one last, or if it's a sequel, two last, of the Peanuts characters that you can get, like another story.
Yeah, I think it's just really, it's going to be really lighthearted and fun, and I think there's going to be some touching moments, and I think, yeah, it will remind you of your people's childhoods, and seeing these characters again on the big screen. They've actually never been on the big screen, so it's their first time. I think it's very exciting, especially for all those Schultz fans.
I was thinking about this one, and my mom and I came up with this. I think it's going to be a good, clean movie.
I think that people probably want to see this movie because it's kind of a throwback to people's childhood, and you can usually at least relate to at least one of the characters, because there's such a variety of them.
Yeah. It's a whole squad. All right, so we've got some Twitter questions, and the first one is for Scott. What was the biggest challenge in maintaining the low-tech charm of Peanuts while using modern animation tools?
It was extremely difficult. This is the most complex movie we've ever made at Blue Sky Studios, even though it looks so kind of a handcrafted feel and low-tech, as you say. Charles Schultz's designs were not really meant to be in 3 dimensions. He drew very specific angles of them. And it was very, very important to us from a very early standpoint that these characters had to look just like how Charles Schultz drew them. And in order to do that, it means we had to come up with whole new ways of achieving that, where we kind of basically had to break the computer in order to get this look. Because the computer wants to do everything that's like more fluid and organic and nice. Well, the computer doesn't, but in order to get that handcrafted feel, like the artist has to be in charge of every frame. And getting those specific character views on the characters, we had to come up with different head shapes and different pieces of the face. The face has, if you look at the panels there, they just have elements on their face that kind of move around, which is completely different than any kind of CG movie that we've done so far. It's not based really on anatomy. It's based on these very appealing graphic designs that Charles Schultz created.
Kind of like I'm looking at Snoopy and you pointed out he's got 2 eyes on one side of the face.
Exactly. So he's got like a founder head right there. He's got 2 eyes on one side of his face, and in 3D and computer graphics, like it'd be like two eyes right on the side of his face, and just as soon as he does a head turn, that doesn't hold up. It looks really weird. So we had to come up with ways to make it look believable, because if you didn't have Snoopy with the 2 eyes on the side of his face, it just wouldn't look like Snoopy.
All right. Kids, when you were recording your voices, did you feel a lot of pressure to try and sound exactly like the characters from the specials?
Actually, the little red-haired girl has never spoken before, so I got to create her voice with the director in the studio, so that was really cool. And just being able to have a character, such an iconic character, speaking for the first time, it was so amazing to create.
Well, in the auditions, actually, I tried to make my voice sound like different from what I already talked, except like in the slate and stuff. And then I think it's an agent or manager. I get them confused. But Bonnie, my agent/manager, I forgot which one she was. She called and she said, "They do not want you to make your voice sound different. Sound the same in the next audition, okay?" And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And then I did, and then, yeah. So now I just talk normally in the room, and hopefully my voice won't change as much to just record the last bit of the movie, so. Yeah, drop the mic.
I didn't really try to make my voice sound different from the way Pigpen had it, because I feel like it's a new movie, and like Pigpen should have like a new voice, because he's like a different kind of person in this movie.
I was really sort of pressured to be sounding like Schroeder until I sort of heard his voice, like I actually studied his voice, and I found out that it kind of sounded just like mine.
It's uncanny, actually. When I listen to you talk, I just hear the Christmas special scene, and it's kind of freaking me out. Scott, Delta Sniper 22 wants to know, when can Snoopy have his own movie?
That probably all depends on how this movie does, but I'm sure everybody loves Snoopy. I mean, some of the favorite parts everybody loves is Snoopy and all the different personas he has, and he's just so much fun to watch. He has such a personality.
Yeah.
So.
And then for the cast, because this is a movie about a boy and his dog, they want to know, do you have any pets, and what advice would you give to people who have pets?
Okay, well, I had this bird that's kind of old now, and her name is Stripe, and she's, old. And I just got this dog named Felix, and he's a Shih Tzu, or Shih Tzu. It's like, correct pronunciation is Shih Tzu. Anyway, so he is very fluffy, and he kind of mops the floor, and he does not want to walk on the walk, so he kind of goes inside the house on this like area, like a wee-wee pad, and he just kind of sits around and he pants a lot. And my advice is to remember to feed it, and don't even bother combing its hair. It will just have knots, and you have to like just do all this stuff. And then we just got him groomed, and he's really cute and he's fluffy. Anyway, so yeah. Well,
I don't actually have a dog or any pets, but my best friend and my neighbor, they all have dogs, and I love dogs. They're so cute, and I think that a lot of the kids that are our age will love Snoopy because he's just so adorable, and he looks exactly like my best friend's dog. So.
I have one Portuguese water dog, and don't get the runt of the litter. They're always a lot bigger than they should be. And make sure you train them when they're young, because he doesn't like new tricks.
I actually have two rather small dogs, one about as big as the front of my arm to my hand, and the other one a bit bigger, but a tip for carrying one of them is sometimes they go boneless, so you have to like use both your arms even if it's really small.
All right. We also want to mention, and some of you may have passed it on your way in, Activision will be releasing a game this fall. The Peanuts movie, Snoopy's Grand Adventure. It's this incredible video. You've played it, correct?
Yes, I have. It is so...
Tell them about this game.
It's Snoopy's in this like Egyptian temple and you have to like get him through the level into his doghouse, and you can play with Snoopy or Woodstock, and they have power-ups, and you have to collect the jelly beans, and it's just so fun because Woodstock can fly and Snoopy can swim, so it's just really fun to play. But it took me a while to pass the first level.
And he gets to go into all of his personas. You get to see him in all of his different costumes and all that, and all the other characters pop up, right?
I'm not exactly sure, but I think the other characters are there as well.
Nice. And this will be it'll be out this fall. It's going to be on Xbox, the all-in-one games, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii U, Nintendo 3DS handheld, which I'm sure you guys all have. PlayStation 4, right? You guys have all these?
I have the Nintendo thing.
I have my Nintendo as well.
All right, so you'll be set up.
Yep.
And also, and this is something that I am going crazy about, This is going to be the